NBA totals for Thursday, November 17th. Rough day yesterday, but it's been a really good week, and we still have a nice winning record on the year, so can't complain too much. We're going to break down two games on today's card. Those are the only numbers I have. Excuse me, those are the only numbers I have out right now. There's still a lot of question marks. And another thing, just to mention, we make these videos, I think, in a really efficient amount of time as far as prior to the game starting. So things like LeBron James being out, that didn't happen until an hour or two before game time, and that's just something we don't know. So I'll go ahead, I'll take the loss because that I had it down, so I have to take the loss. If they would have won, I would have taken it as well. So that's just the way it goes sometimes, but definitely would have changed the play. So this is not about my plays, though. This is about you and you making the smart decision. So if you see I'm on a play, then all of a sudden three starters are out or something, well, it's probably, you might want to think about that a little bit. Okay, that's just to let you know. And let's just go ahead and talk about the two games today. All right, first one we got up is Portland and Houston. There was a weird game yesterday with Houston. Well, let me talk about the play first. We got Portland, Houston. I'm going to go over the total of 220. All right, back to Houston yesterday. Weird game. We had over the total. Fourth quarter, they scored a combined with OKC 37 points, with Houston only 13 points in the fourth quarter. They scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. That was really weird for a Houston team that could flat out score, but it happens sometimes. It's just the way sports go. But I like over the total here with 220 with Portland. Portland's a really fast team. Both these teams love to shoot the three. Great guard play on both sides. I think it's going to be a real track meet. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm back over the total. Houston coming off now back-to-back. Probably going to lack a little bit on the defensive end. And Portland really needs a bounce-back game after a very poor performance against Chicago. Let's talk about this. We got Portland averaging 107 points per game, but they're allowing 111th. That ranks second to last in the NBA. Houston 107.8, and they're giving up 104.8. So they're still, they're offensively, they're good. They're really, really efficient. On the year, they're scoring some points, and defensively, they're actually playing a lot better than I anticipated. Portland's getting up 87.1 attempts per game. That ranks sixth in the NBA. They're allowing 89.9. That ranks third to last. Houston's still not getting their attempts wise, but they did yesterday versus OKC. More of what we want to see out of that Mike D'Antoni offense. They're getting up right now 83.7 attempts per game, allowing 85 attempts. So they're starting to get there. If we look at them yesterday, how much did they get up yesterday? They got up 92 attempts versus OKC yesterday. That's more of what we want to see, but they just didn't score very much in that fourth quarter. They had a really bad shooting night overall. Okay, Houston, they rank second in shooting efficiency and effective field goal percentage in the league. They've been really efficient this year. I've mentioned that before. Portland, they rank 10th in three-point shooting percentage at 35.6%. Houston ranks 6th in three-point shooting percentage, as well as they rank first in the league in three-pointers attempted and made per game. So they really get up a lot of attempts. Portland, they're not far behind in that category. They are getting up 30 point. Portland is. They're getting up 30.2 three-pointers per game. They're making 10.8. That ranks sixth in the league. Houston 36.6, and they're making 13.6 of those. Again, that ranks first, as I already mentioned. Now, I already talked about the Rockets yesterday. They got up a lot of attempts. That's what we want to see, and I think that's going to carry over into today. Now, Portland, their last game versus Chicago, they did not play well at all. They allowed 113 points, but they allowed Chicago a lot of tempo, 98 attempts. That's a lot. That's a lot, especially on your home floor. Portland got up 95 attempts, but they only shot 35.8% from the field. That's one of their worst shooting nights. It might be their worst shooting night of the year, I believe, so far. And only 26.5% from distance. That's just not them. I think they're going to come in against a Houston team where statistically they're just not really that good across the board on the defensive side. Neither is Portland, really. Portland's decent in defending the perimeter, but I think these guys are really going to get up and down. They're going to launch a lot of threes, and I think they're going to drop tonight. So I'm going to go over that 220 in what will be arguably the most entertaining game of the day. Next one up, we got, and the last one, only two today, Minnesota, Philadelphia. I'm going to go under right now of 215 set by odds makers. Philadelphia, they're coming off a back-to-back big win against Washington, but this is a team that just struggles to score. They've had a couple games where we've seen totals like this and them get there, but this game is predicated on me believing that Philadelphia is not going to score that much against Minnesota that is way overdue to step things up defensively. Let's talk about some statistics. We got Philadelphia. They're averaging 95.6 points per game. That ranks 27th in the league. They're allowing 108.9. That ranks 26th. They're just not good, as they have not been the last several years. Minnesota, They're getting up 107. That ranks seventh in the league. 107, well, closer to 108, 107.9, and they're allowing 106. So that's not great either. Philadelphia, the attempts, so this pace should be quite slow. You got Philadelphia getting up 84.9, and you got Minnesota getting up 84.3. So attempts per game is not that high. Philadelphia does allow quite a bit of tempo, though, at 89 per game, but Minnesota, they're only allowing 79.4 attempts per game. That ranks third in the league, and I really expect for them to clamp things down on the defensive end, considering how they allowed Charlotte to kind of run over them that second half just the other night. Yesterday, Philadelphia, like I mentioned, they did beat Washington, and they shot lights out. I don't anticipate them carrying that over 2 nights in a row. They shot 54.5% from the field and 35.7% from distance, but they only got up 77 attempts. So they were super efficient, and that's not Philadelphia. I think that's an anomaly. I don't think it carries over into tonight. I think Minnesota is going to put enough stops to stay under. This is a big total here, 215. Two teams have got to go in this one to get 215. I don't think Philadelphia is going to get there. Minnesota is probably going to score like 110. Neither team is really playing very good, defense percentage-wise. They rank like in the bottom 3 in a lot of statistical categories, and that is disconcerting. But at the end of the day, I just don't think they're going to be able to score enough. Minnesota's been pretty decent on the offensive end, especially shooting from beyond the arc percentage-wise. They rank first in the league at over 40%, but they don't get up that many attempts. They rank around 20th in the league in attempts. Now, the Timberwolves, they lost to Charlotte 115 to 108, and they did not shoot very well, 42.7% from the field. But again, they're really, the three, no problem. They shot almost 43% from distance. They got up 89 attempts, but again, according to the statistics, as we can see with Minnesota, they're going to try and stop teams as much as they can, slowing the tempo on the defensive end, getting out, contesting shots, as they allowed Charlotte just 80 attempts. But Charlotte was quite efficient. Philadelphia won't be that efficient. So I'm going to go under the total in that matchup, Minnesota-Philadelphia, under the 215. Okay, we got 2 games up again. We got Portland-Houston over the 220, Minnesota-Philadelphia under the 215. Those are my 2 NBA totals picks today, and I wish you luck on your pick today.